I thought the fans were all right.
Obviously,
obviously, when you're really up for the game, which fans were, they're really up for it, probably too confident. When you concede after 4 minutes, obviously that's going to knock you back a bit, where you're going to be like, oh dear. And when you're sort of seeing your team getting outplayed for half an hour, that's going to knock you. But I don't think we were quiet. I still think the fans were getting behind the team. I saw some of the criticism like Wayne Rooney saying, and what's that all about? The fans were all right.
Wayne Rooney, the fans let Arsenal fans let the team down. Like, well, they know all about letting down. You know what I mean? Like, ask Plymouth and their fans. They'll tell you. The second thing on that, right? And this is what really annoys me. And I don't want people like Wayne Rooney, and who's got nothing to do with Arsenal, getting on about this, right? Because I'll tell you this now. We have got a fantastic atmosphere at the Emirates, which has been built up over the last 3 years or 4 years when it's been quiet and all that, what other teams haven't got, and they don't like it. So they think, oh, this is a chance to have a dig at the Arsenal, And that atmosphere last night was fantastic. Even when we went a goal down after 3 minutes, we were singing songs and all that, I'm not having that, right? And then I get people turn around and say, right, well, look at all I could hear was PSG fans and all that.
They're winning. They're winning, and they're great fans.
And they are great fans.
I've said this before. The PSG fans, I know you know Stuart Prison in London. And they're great fans. Next week in their place, it'd be rocking. I've said this.
It's the best atmosphere I've been to an away ground.
Yeah, they're brilliant, right? But we were loud too. It was a great atmosphere in the stadium.
But they should not be where they are at the Emirates Stadium. They should be up out the way so we can't hear them, right? Put some bloody netting around them, and we try and, that's it. Because we do not have an advantage at home in any Champions League game. Now, we was at Real Madrid last week, or the week before, whenever it was a fantastic atmosphere. Now, I've spoken to people, home supporters, or Arsenal fans that are in that home end, right? I said, why? What was it like in it? We couldn't hear you. What do you mean you couldn't hear us? Oh, you're so far out up there. We could hear you. We could see you jumping around. Couldn't hear you. It was fantastic atmosphere in there.
It was the atmosphere that the Arsenal fans created at Real Madrid was no different
to what that was.
To what the atmosphere, to what the PSG fans created.
But we cannot hear.
But like Lee says, when you've been put up in the highest part of the ground, away from everything,
in a corner
with netting around you, that kills. Like you said, you can't be heard. Every single ground you go to in Europe, it's the same thing.
High up,
whether it's
netting.
A big ground or went to Girona. Only about 15, was it? What that ground hold? 20,000?
Not if that.
They put you in a corner where you can hardly even see, with double netting around you. You can hardly see. You're away. You're in a subdued area. Basically, we go to Inter Milan. You're in the highest, great ground of San Siro, atmospheric stadium. But where they put you, the highest part of the ground, double netting, stuff like that. You go to Sporting, up, double netting. Even when we're trying to chant now, they've got ultras down in front of you. You let off about 1 billion flares.
Yeah,
so we couldn't even see for about 10 minutes, right? Because through all the smoke. It's ground after ground. Bayern Munich, same thing.
Same thing.
These are great stadiums, but these guys are smart. They put the away fans in areas where they know they're going to kill your atmosphere. Why? I agree with you, Lee. Why is it that we have fans down the bottom, right there, bottom tier, right behind the goal atmosphere? Not only that, they get mate and bringing their drums. Arsenal fans, I remember there was one of the guys, they said to me, they bought their drum, got confiscated on one of them games. No, you're not bringing it in.
But flares are banned.
The amount of flares, they lit off like they had fireworks going off yesterday in the PSG end when they scored. When we go abroad, like remember we went to...
Can't even take a battery phone with you.
Went to Girona, your battery charger.
You had to take that to Madrid.
They had some dustbin full of them where they're taking them off for fans.
Yeah.
No, you can't bring those in.
Treated completely different, we are.
Why do we allow that? Why do we allow it? So every fans that comes to the Emirates gets the best treatment, the best atmosphere, everything. Put them up in the top tier behind netting, like what happens to us.
And then in the Premier League, right? Like the fans can come back down there. No netting and all that, like. And then for every time we play a European team, you put them up in the gods, you put as much thick netting as you can get round there, and you leave them up there and not hear them. And keep them in there an hour after the game, like like they do with us. And you would not have that atmosphere yesterday. Now, I at the end of the day, yes, it's fantastic that they've got, but they must be loving it, like PSG. They don't get it anywhere else. If they're going to Barcelona or Madrid, they're being stuck up there as well, like, so they're going to enjoy it when they come to our play. This is like luxury. Look at us, we ain't got no netting, we're in the front here like, wow, Emirates is the place to go, or Tottenham's ground's the place to go, or Man United or whatever, because it's great to go in. Do what you like.
I saw their end last night. There were about 3 guys in there with megaphones.
Yeah.
Right? I remember I said, we couldn't bring our battery charger into any of those stadiums that you've gone to. None of them. They got about 3 guys in there with megaphones. Not just them. PSV had it when they came. Yeah. Like, all of them have had it when they've come.
PSV guys stick you right up in the corner.
Like that. They got like 2 guys with drums. They got flares going off left, right and centre. Where's the searches for? How is that able to happen? Something needs to be done. I'm with you on this, Lee. Something at Arsenal.
And we will never...
And all the English clubs need to come together.
Yeah, and do it.
That are in Europe and say, no.
We're not having it no more.
Because every time these teams come over...
They have an advantage.
And listen, this is not a hate thing on these teams, right? This is not a hate thing. It's not ain't like a Brexit type vibe on football, right? But all I'm saying is, if we can't have that when we go to their grounds, where we're lower tier, we ain't got all that netting, then we shouldn't be doing it for them. Because it is an advantage. The guys at Brighton told me that the reason why they're moving the fans next season from behind the goal to more in the corner is that they've done research on it and said that when fans are directly behind the goal, it's an advantage. You know, it's a I think they measured it in percentage of how much percentage of it gives you, and they said over the course of a season or in tight games, it's an advantage. Why do we do it game after game?
And then you get like people saying, oh, you can hear the PSG fans and all that. Like, you go to PSV, you're under netting and a glass or plastic perspex. PSV. To dense it even more. I see their players celebrating all together like yesterday. When we were celebrating at Real Madrid, he can't even it's pathetic.
Yeah, something has to be done with it.
Something has to be done about it. At the end of the day, yes, fantastic. I've heard a load of people go, all I can hear, you got outsung by PSG like yesterday. Like, yes, they wouldn't. Get them out of the way and see if they're outsung by them. And we will never ever have a fans advantage until that is sorted.
Yeah, and Newcastle needs to be included in that as well.
Yeah, Newcastle, I chuck Newcastle fans up there like.
Yeah, Newcastle fans as well, because they put you right up in the...
So that's another one. Newcastle fans, every other team in the Premier League can come down. Newcastle fans, you go up top. Yeah. We won't. I'll tell you what. We'd be nice. We won't put no netting up for you lot because you don't do it for us.
We sort of we do like a Donald Trump here. Tariffs. Tariffs.
But it does spoil.
You do it to us. We do it to you. Simple as that.
And I think it's something that's certainly got to be done. It's got to be done. Newcastle's people go to me like, right. I've got nothing against Newcastle fans.
No, me neither. I'm always bigging them up.
But fantastic away from the ground. Someone goes to me, what do you reckon, like a couple of Newcastle fans have come up to me in the past, what do you reckon of Newcastle's ground and atmosphere and all that? I don't know. What is it like? Because you don't know. You're cocooned up in the top there, like, you don't know. What was the atmosphere like at Real Madrid the other night, at the other time? I don't really know. It sounded all right, but you're so far out of the way, you don't really know, like, you know what I mean? You know?
I mean, they said they closed the roof. We could touch it.
Well, you could do like that. The bleeding eaters coming down on you, didn't they? Like, you know what I mean? Like, listen, it's a fantastic stadium and all that, but at the end of the day, I'm not having it when they go, oh, they're outsung us you and all that, like, you know what I mean? You could hear them all night, you know what I mean? Yeah, put them out of the way and see if you can hear them. Don't forget then, when that bit round the corner, that would be all another lot of Arsenal fans in there, like, and you wouldn't hear them so much.
Yeah.
It's got to be done.